to connect with the intelligence of our horses. A young woman sat in a wheelchair with a horse by her side. It was a super hot summer day. It was the beginning of July. It was in a huge open field. We were gathering in this place to celebrate history, to celebrate horses. The people who were gathered there was children, there was families, horse people, there was not horse people, there were city people. There was an audience gathered in a circle around, and she was then a paraplegic from that time forward. So she motioned to me to come over to her. I went over to her and I leant down beside her and put my ear to her face, and she said something to me. So horses are highly intelligent and sentient beings. But how do we connect with that intelligence? And how do we connect with that intelligence to get the results that we're looking for and to develop a deep bond that is everlasting? It's time for us to change. It's time for us to look at our horses in a different way. Our horses have been waiting for this for a long time. They want us to up level with them, because I know if you're here watching this, this is what you're seeking too. So my dog is watching this cat. He's using his very acute senses and his sense of awareness, and that's what I'd like to talk about first, and that is that trust that the horse knows. Trust that my dog knows. Trust that he knows that his senses are telling them there's something, and his job is to look after the farm. So he's going to let me know that there's something there. I could say, stop barking, don't be a disturbance right now. I recognize that he is doing his job and he's using his acute senses to do that. So with regards to R.D. Lawrence and wolves, he noted they had an amazing ability to adapt to their environment. They could adapt to the most harsh conditions of the deepest of winter and severe conditions, to then adapting to the conditions of very harsh summer hot conditions, humidity, heat, and that was relating to his definition of intelligence. Horses, they have the amazing ability to adapt to humans, to fit into human society. They have the most amazing ability to understand us. Even if we don't understand ourselves, if we are not clear on ourselves, they have the most amazing ability to adapt and just say, oh, okay, she means this. She wants me to do this, so I'll just do this. Horses also have, just like my dog, seeing that cat that I perhaps would not see in the distance. He has, and horses have the most amazing awareness and their senses, the ability to detect change in their environment, the ability to see the slightest of movements and respond to that. And that's what we did on that day with the woman in the wheelchair and my horse Dawn. We were there to give a presentation and a performance about how horses adapt to humans. This woman was in her wheelchair, had Dawn, my horse, with her, and what she did was she circled around her at liberty with the audience, the people all around us, making a circle. She brought Dawn in by backing up the wheelchair a little bit. She sent Dawn out. She had just the slightest of cues that she used, or not even cues. It was the slightest of conversation that she used to communicate with Dawn. That's number one. That's where we need to trust that the horse knows. So number two is educate ourselves on our movement. All right, so horses are masters of movement. They are designed in the most amazing way to move. We have put ourselves in front of computers using our hands all day, and we've conditioned ourselves and our nervous systems so that we actually don't function as a whole. We're functioning in parts. In order to be with a horse, we need to connect then to ourselves, educate ourselves about our movement, and help ourselves to then function as a whole in our movement. Not focus on our hands as we do for hours and hours and hours a day. We need to know our bodies, we need to know our movement, and find our place of power. And once we know our place of power, then we are moving as a whole, and we can play this instrument, which is our bodies, the way that our horses are able to listen to us. This is basically understanding and knowledge about ourselves, not the aids, which is commonly taught in the horse world. It's not obedience to the aids. It's not perfection of the aids. It's not hauling our horses around. It is setting up our body for success with our horses. Access the intelligence of our horses, because then our horses also have intelligence in movement. Once we connect with ourselves in this way, we can then connect with our horses, and we can guide our horses to find their best pure movement, to find where they are then able to work as a whole in unit with us. And so we become a unit as the two of us dancing together. I mentioned earlier about how humans put horses through so much trauma because they don't trust that the dog knows, or they don't trust that the horse knows. And so our ignorance puts the animals through so much trauma. Well, those traumas are stored in the body. They are stored, of course, in the mind, in the emotion, but they are also stored in our bodies and in our horses' bodies. I've rescued a lot of horses. I've found that the traumas express themselves continually throughout the entire life, in the movement, in the mental approach, in the emotions. These stories of the human interaction and the traumas that have happened in the past are held, and this is affecting the movement, and hence it'll affect the way that we ride. So number 3 is living in the moment. Horses are masters at living in the moment, aren't they? They don't look at the past, they don't look at the future. They do have memory in their muscles, but they don't focus on what happened in the past. So do we really want to take all of our stuff and our stories that we have into our riding? This is really important, because once we connect with our horses, the horses connect back with us, and they can tell us what's happening. They show us where we need to heal. They can see our movement clearly. They perceive the slightest of movements, but they also perceive what's behind the movement. What is the story behind that person's movement? They can teach us how to heal if we're ready to listen to this. So transitioning to this different approach with our horse asks us to get absolutely crystal clear on ourselves, doesn't it? The clearer you get on yourself, the more you can release your own subconscious patterns, maybe your own guilt that's happened in the past. The more you can get in touch with your negative emotions that you're holding, all the pain that you have, all the angst that you have, all the details that are behind your stories. And this is what we do in my program. We help you to release that. We help you to find those stories and release them so that you can then communicate very clearly with your horses. When we have learned how to be whole in our movement and have our place of power, then we're much more able to feel. Until then, it's just pieces and parts, which leads to overwhelm in riders and lack of ability to pick up and to receive, and then lack of ability to give back. That's what we do in my program. We help you with all of those things that I've just discussed here. If you'd like more information, I have a free webinar that you can watch. It describes all of what I've talked about today in much more detail. You can watch that, see if it resonates with you, and see if it's something that you would like to get support with. Teaching you how to connect with the intelligence of your horse. What exactly is the intelligence with your horse? Trusting your horse, knowing how to connect with your horse, educating yourself on your movement, living in the moment. So to get back to the story that I told you about my horse and the woman in the wheelchair, when I leant down and put my ear beside her before she did her performance, what she said to me was trust and connect. Because we were there to trust and connect. Dawn and the woman in the wheelchair were at liberty. There's nothing we could do but trust and connect. We couldn't do anything different than that. So what she said to me was trust and connect. She had approached me because she had a fear of horses because of her accident, and she had not been around horses for quite some time after the accident, and she loved horses deeply. She really wanted sincerely to get over the fear and get back into being with horses. And so that's what we did together, and we did this performance and we helped her overcome her fear. The biggest teacher there was Dawn, though, my horse. Dawn helped her to learn to trust and connect, and it'll all be okay. All right, thanks so much for being here. It's great to have you. I will see you next time. Bye for now.